Hey everyone, Tate here with IMS, and today is another Tuesday full of amazing tech tip videos. Today what we're going to be focusing on is 5 different ways to secure your personal and home network with your current equipment. No extra purchase is really necessary, and it'll take your home network security from kind of a beginner class all the way to be more of an intermediate. Like I said, can be done with any consumer grade router, and it's a very basic level. Anyone who's familiar with a website or web browsing should be able to get these squared away. So let's go ahead and move on to our first tech tip. Alright, we're going to go ahead and dive into that first tech tip. Now previously, I was talking about that this can be done with any commercial grade router. So first big question is what is a router? Well, a router is a very important device in your home network, as this is what actually facilitates telling what kind of traffic should be going where and where it should be going to in its next hop. And what I mean by that is anytime one of your devices inside your home network make a request, maybe if that's a video, a photo, it'll hit your router, and then your router actually will go to the next spot and tell it where to go in the big World Wide Web. And the same thing happens going the other way. So if you request that funny cat video, it's going to come from the World Wide Web, and it's going to hit your ISP, and then your ISP is going to navigate it to your router and to then your specific device. So that router is kind of your first gateway of all of your kind of traffic coming in and out of your home network. So it's a very important device to secure. With that being said, if you've had your local ISP come and install your router that they gave you, they normally have a preset password that they'll give you. That, or if you go and purchase one from your local big box store, those are going to normally have a default password as well. Maybe it's just password 123. Sometimes they're a little bit more secure in there, just on the box itself. But again, if you throw away that box, or if someone's actually trying to perform an attack on you, they might look for these things to discover what that home network password is. So the very first thing I would recommend doing is changing that Wi-Fi password. These can be done a few different ways. You can log into the app if your router supports it. You can get it from your App Store or your Play Store, or you can access the web interface of your home router, and that's normally done by doing whatever its IP address, which your local ISP will be able to help you out with that. Just enter that into your address bar in your favorite web browser of choice. Log in with its admin password, which should be in that little portfolio packet that you get with it, and then allow you to change the password from there. Alright, let's move into that next tip. Alrighty, and now for our second tech tip, we're going to actually stay in the password field, and we're going to go ahead and change that admin password. The reason why that's really important is if for any reason someone does get inside your network, or even if it's a friend or a family member that just might know a little too much to be dangerous, if they know that default admin password, which you can normally Google your router's make and model and find that on the internet, they're able to get into that router and start making a whole bunch of different changes that can be telling your traffic actually to go to a malicious website or anything above. So it's very important that not only do you change your home Wi-Fi password, but you also change your home admin password. And I also recommend these to be 2 different passwords. Alrighty, and now for our third tech tip, what we really want to be focusing on is the security of that router itself. So majority of people, and I was one to blame before I started educating myself into the IT field, was once that router was set up, I never looked at it again. I just did its thing, and the worst case I ever did anything with it was I maybe turn it off and back on again when I was having Wi-Fi issues. Now, a major step in your home security, though, is to actually log into those devices and update its firmware. Just recently, we had a Netgear attack where normal Nighthawk or Orbi routers had a known vulnerability that were actually being facilitated for malicious attacks from certain groups. Netgear did come out and do a patch for this, but you do have to go out inside that router and actually update it itself. Again, very simple to do. You can normally log into your router using that IP address that you were given when you did your first setup, that admin password that we just recently changed, and then normally there's a software or a maintenance tab in there that allows you to perform that update. Do note when that update happens, it will reboot the router a few times, so your network will kind of stop during that. But let's go ahead and move into that next tip. Alrighty, and for tech number 4, what we're going to be talking about is kind of a 3-parter, and that's going to be turning off some known features inside most home networks, and that is going to be called remote management, WPS, and universal plug and play. We're going to start with remote management, and that one's a pretty simple concept because it is exactly what it sounds like. It's being able to remotely manage your device. What this allows, though, is you normally have to create an account with your router's manufacturer, and then you'll be able to log into some sort of portal and then manage your device at home. For the common person, not really much management's needed after you've changed that password, that admin password, and maybe doing some firmware updates, which you can normally do from the comfort of your home. What will happen though is if you do have that remote management, you leave yourself open for that account and that password to be potentially compromised, and then someone able to get into your home network from anywhere in the world. The next one is WPS, or Wireless Protected Setup. Basically what that does is most routers will have a little button on your device that when you tap on it, if the supporting device, your cell phone, laptop supports WPS, it's just going to automatically connect into your home network. So what that could mean is if someone happened to be in your house, they can tap that button, they can connect the device without needing that Wi-Fi password. Or if you're trying to actually use it, the function yourself, and maybe there's a nearby neighbor, someone trying to happenstance using their same thing, or potentially malicious attacker, they can actually jump into that network as well without needing that Wi-Fi password and start causing some chaos from there. So we want to turn that feature off as well. Next is universal plug and play. This is going to be more of an inside network type thing. Most routers are going to have 4 switches on the back that allow you to hardwire a device in. Maybe that be a computer, hard drive, or a printer. What universal plug and play does is actually tells it to not just allow whatever device plugs into it, access into the network. Requires a little bit more setup, and I'd recommend partnering with your local ISP, or you can contact us if you have some more questions on it, and we can kind of walk you through on how to set that up. Alright, let's go ahead and move into our final tech. Alrighty, and finally we're at the 5th and final tech tip for this week's video. And this one's another nice and simple one as well, in that most consumer hardware now gives you the ability to set up a guest network. I highly recommend doing this, as this is a very amazing way to help secure your network, to kind of have that difference between a private network and a guest network. Basically what that guest network is a complete and isolated network that you can give to friends, family, maybe guests of friends that are coming into your house, and then that way they can have the internet access through your Wi-Fi. But what that then does though is completely severs that connection between your home network and their internet access. Not saying any friends or family are trying to be evil or anything like that, but if they are there, they might be accidentally getting into things that you don't want them into, and this just completely separates all that from it and saves you a potential big headache. So I highly recommend setting up that guest network. You can kind of make that one an easier Wi-Fi password, as you're going to be sharing that out to friends and family like I said, but this is a great way to keep that network nice and secure. Alrighty, and that's 5 amazing tips on how to secure your home network. Like I said, very simple tips in a concept, very easy tips to kind of go out and do, and it will really take your home network from, again, that kind of beginner level into that next big step on how to further secure your network. If you do have more questions, or you want to know how to go from that intermediate to that more advanced, let me know in the comments below, and we'll go ahead and post that as our next video. Thank you so much, and take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.